Majdanek Concentration Camp operated between the end of 1941 until the Soviet Red Army liberated the camp in the summer of 1944. Perhaps the most incredible story about this camp is that due to the rapid advance by the Soviets, the Germans were unable to destroy the evidence of their war crimes. The entrance gate memorial at Maidanic stands there to represent mangled bodies. Majdanek was ordered by Heinrich Himmler after his July visit of Lublin in 1941. Originally the camp was commissioned for forced labour and to hold 25,000 prisoners of war, although after the Battle of Kiev the capacity would be increased to house 50,000 Soviets. By the end of 1941, the first group of Polish peasants are detained and sent to Majdanek. In the summer of 1942, the gas chambers began to operate. Like at Auschwitz, Zyklone B was used, although carbon monoxide was also used to murder the prisoners. Here is the document where 1,474 Zyklone B cans were ordered by the Germans from Hamburg. This footage was taken at the start of summer when it was 23 degrees Celsius, but after taking one step into the gas chambers, we were overwhelmed by how ice cold this section of the camp was compared to the temperature of the rooms we had just exited. The female concentration camp opened for operation in October of 1942. It should be noted that the female prisoners were supervised by German women. An account from a female Polish political prisoner read, "The camp authorities had proven and established methods faster than the poverty in the camp." This method was terrorizing and tormenting defenseless women in the camp. Above all, there were beatings for any reason and no reason. Beatings over the head with a bullwhip at roll call. Commander Elsa Erich broke all the records. She beat women with a passion, with frigid cruelty in her eyes. No SS woman could match her for strength or inflicting pain. She always beat us until she drew blood. After the war, in May 1945, she was arrested in Hamburg and stayed in the camp for war criminals, PWE-29 in Dachau. She was transferred to the Polish authorities. In 1948, she stood before the District Court of Lublin at the second Maidanic trials. She was accused of committing war crimes and crimes against humanity. Erich was found guilty of the allegations and on the 10th of June 1948 was condemned to death by hanging. Erich was executed on the 26th of October 1948 in Lublin prison. On November 3, 1943, the biggest execution in the history of German concentration camps took place at the Maidanic camp. Operation Harvest Festival was to exterminate all the Jews in the Lublin district, 18,000 people in total. This decision had already been made a few months prior. Towards the back of the camp, where the newly built crematorium stood, prisoners were ordered to dig 3 ditches that were 100 metres long and between 1.5 to 3 metres deep. The victims were told to undress and were ordered to lay down, facing the ground. They were all executed by a single shot to the back of the head or neck. For the entire duration of this massacre, the Germans played marching and dancing music to drown out the noise. Although some SS officers were charged immediately after the camp's liberation, 1,037 members worked at the camp, yet only 170 of them were ever prosecuted. This was due to a rule in the West German justice system that stated only individuals directly involved in the murder process could be charged. The crematorium is probably the most chilling room we have ever set foot in. 5 ovens stand side by side each other, and you are able to see the iron stretchers that the victims of this atrocity would have been incinerated on. There is also a room with a bench where autopsies were performed. Before the victims were cremated, they were searched for anything of value, including gold teeth. The Red Army's liberation of Maidanic in July 1944 was one of the most significant moments in the history of the Holocaust. The night of July 22, the Red Army saved just under 500 prisoners . Majdanek was one of the first major concentration camps to be liberated, and the Soviets invited journalists in to document the horrors of what happened there. The mausoleum stands at the back of the camp and holds many of the victims' ashes. There is a dome protecting the pile of the ashes, which protects them from the elements. The sign on the dome translates to, "Let our fate be a warning to you."